approximately 4,000 people unemployed in Longford, which is disgraceful. But what is more disgraceful is that net job creation for 2014 was minus 56. So you can talk about bringing jobs, but you must also consider the jobs that are lost. Longford, I'm sure you are all aware, is the most disadvantaged local authority in the region, with a deprivation score of minus 5.12, which is extremely, extremely disadvantaged. So what I want to know from the candidates is, and the other thing I want to mention is that in 2015 we have experienced further job losses, and then we hear this morning about Cameron and the loss of further jobs there. So what one specific initiative would you implement to create the conditions for bringing real jobs, not schemes, but jobs that provide a living wage and job path progression to Longford? Thank you.
Okay, we'll start with Connie there. Quinn has her hand up there. Let's go with that, Connie.
Okay, well, first of all, despite the fact that we haven't had a visit from the IDA in so long, I think that we need to be looking at the creation of jobs with a two-strand approach. First of all, we're not going to have multinationals come into our county, in the next months or perhaps even years. We may have to wait for that, but we do have to depend on the IDA. That is their role, and we have to be putting greater pressure on them to be selling Longford abroad as a place to live and work. And we have to be promoting ourselves as a county that has all the...
just will you speak up a little bit as well? Just speak up so people can hear you.
We have to be promoting Longford as a place to live and work, and we have to be promoting the great infrastructure we have.
Is there something specific though? Louise has asked the question, what are people going to walk down the street if you are elected and say that's what Connie Garrett
Okay, but what I'm trying to say is there's a two-strand approach here. We have to be, first of all, promoting Longford as a county as a good place to live and work. We are an hour from Dublin Airport, we're on the N4, we have a train route, we're 40 minutes from a regional airport, so we've all that. We also have vacant units here, waiting for investors to simply come to Longford, and that needs to be promoted through the IDA. Secondly, though, however, we need to be looking at more innovative ways of capturing the innovation of our young people, young people who are intent on starting up new businesses, and to try and foster that innovation and give them the support. My idea in this regard would be to establish a hub here in Longford, to give people an office resource, a totally equipped office, an office hub, where you have got all the resources, a desk, a computer with broadband, with administrative support and all the rest.
Okay,
to help these young people to start up, we have to start fostering. A small business employing 2 people is better than an international company employing 100.
Okay, I'm going to put that question to James.
Sheila, I have brought things from the very beginning to a conclusion, and if you take other TVs that say they bring jobs to the region, they don't. The jobs come to the region and then they stand for the photograph. They don't bring jobs to the region. Now, I've areas of high population and I'm just coming to that actually, Sheila. Yeah. Areas of high population and a high level of employment must subsidise areas of low population and high unemployment. Tax taken from those highly populated areas should be redistributed back to rural locations. The government want a living wage. Why don't the government provide subsidies to local businesses to provide a living wage and give tax relief to businesses who provide employment? Reduce rates for places of high unemployment and low populations. The larger cities such as Dublin and Cork should subsidise rural Ireland and bring the so-called recovery here. Now, I have a few ideas then for doing that. Yeah, reduced VAT rate for a county. Subsidise rates through government scheme for job-creating companies moving into the area. Local commercial ratepayers should get free off-street parking in the off-street car parks. A system of increased credits for sole traders and small businesses who take on extra staff. An IT campus linked to the Athlone Institute of Technology, which would be a huge boost to the local economy. A farmers' research and development centre, and incubator units such as Connie talked about there. But somebody has to build them, and just this is the kicker. If any area has an employment rate 5% higher than that of the national rate, then the resources should be allocated automatically to that area to lower the rate of unemployment. This will ensure that any area with weak representation will not overly suffer like Longford has. This should be in the National Party's manifesto, not pre-election promises. Real solutions for real problems, no more resting on the laurels.
That's very fair. We're living in reality.
Thanks,
Thanks, Sheila. Well, one of the things I would say that jobs
aren't brought here by the government, and that's absolutely right. Jobs come to a place because of the people that are there in it. But companies come to places because the government have created a climate and fixed the economy to the extent that it has been fixed. If the government weren't doing a good job, companies wouldn't want to come into this country. So you have to look at that. But they come because of the people. There's one really very important thing that I think we should be doing, and that is we should always be talking up the county. There should not be as much negativity about Longford that there is. You know, one of the most basic things, when I was elected 18 months ago in the by-election, I contacted the IDA and I said, what can I do as a new TD to bring the IDA, to bring visitors to this county and to bring them to Westmeath? And one of the things that was said to me at the time, and it's a very basic thing, is you need to talk up Longford and you need to talk up Westmeath. When a company considers coming on an IDA visit, one of the first things they do is a very basic thing, and that is that they Google the town or the county. Now, if anyone was to Google Longford after, you know, a lot of negative publicity, they wouldn't want to come here. So one of the big things for a company coming... No, absolutely not. But what I'm saying, absolutely not. Let me finish. What I'm saying is it's really important that politicians talk up their county, talk up Longford, so that people will be encouraged to come here. Their local enterprise office is now within the county council. There are a lot of initiatives in there for people to start up. We need to look at small indigenous companies and businesses that will keep afloat and keep going through the hard times. Okay. And there are grants there, employment grants within the local enterprise office, and I would encourage anyone who thinks they have a start-up idea to go to the local enterprise office and to work with the people there. And there are grants available, and those are the type of businesses that will be maintained. And we have an awful lot of natural things here in this county and in Westmeath to attract tourism, and we should be using that. We should be using what we have naturally for small companies.
The time for talking is
sorry,
no,
please,
I know. 14 years, Connie.
And I'll let you come in then after me, and Paul, I'll let you in after.
I take complete exception to what Gabrielle has said. Longford has not seen any recovery whatsoever. We're in the recovery position. It's so bad here. You're talking about talking up Longford. 5 years you've been in government, and yourself, James. We have not seen anything here for our young children, for our young adults leaving school, and for those people who are unemployed. It's ridiculous. There needs to be something that will get people to open businesses. Give them a break on rates. Give them incentives. Do something. Don't just talk about it. Do something.
Okay, May section next. Yeah. I'm going to put Paul then and then Moncon.
I have to say, and I have to make it absolutely clear, this is not about playing the man, this is about playing the ball. The reality is that the government, we have had 3 government TDs in this constituency. I am running for Longford and only Longford because you cannot wear 2 jerseys. Effectively, we have had 4 TDs representing Westmeath. That's why Longford's on its knees. And you can talk all you want about not talking down Longford. The reality is we have twice the national rate of unemployment here. We have had no job opportunities announced or any infrastructure like broadband infrastructure, internet infrastructure. We're the only county between Longford and Dublin that doesn't have a dual carriageway. We are not on, and I have the maps here, we're not on your plans for the gas pipeline. I mean, we have been totally forgotten. And to tell us here today that we should talk Longford up, of course there are loads of people in this room who are working in the voluntary and community sector right across the board with the local authority attempting to do it. And what do we get? We get TDs who get $1.5 million for Athlone and $1.5 million for Mullingar for the regeneration project. And what do we get in Longford? Nothing. The crumbs off the table. It's what we've got from this government for the last 5 years, and I am fighting for Longford. I am not interested in Mullingar. I am not interested in Athlone. Lovely people. My granny's people come from there. Not anybody. But I am telling you here today, if Longford doesn't fight back and vote for Longford candidates, we will rue the day. Right, this government has not delivered a Don't preach.
At that cherry before. Now, I think it's time you left it to others because I have to say your own record is not...
Connie Geraghty, when I was last... Connie, I'll answer your question. I was a TD for 5 short years here. And in that time, Anybody who is here from Longford-Westmeath, and congratulations for this wonderful forum today, they will tell you I worked hand in glove with them to get what they have. I brought Abbott. How did I bring it? From experience, I can tell you how I did it, Connie. I made sure that the minister involved talked to the idea. That Abbott facility was going to Sligo, let me tell you. It was an extension to Sligo, but it was brought here because I got the minister to intervene to bring it.
Sorry, May.
The prison service headquarters is the very same.
Abbott the same as James Bannon is making claim to.
Listen, James Bannon had nothing to do with it, and he knows he hadn't. And he knows he hadn't. That's the reality. He knows he hadn't.
Thanks very much, Sheila.
Now, specifics, Louise.
Yeah, and just I want to deal with Louise's question, and the fact that Gab's own admission, she said that the government is doing the job and we're fixing the economy, and you'll see that by job creation. Louise's question said that was minus 56 net jobs. So does that mean then that the government TDs are not doing the job for Longford? And I think by their own admission, that is exactly what she said. We have doubled the unemployment rate in County Longford as the national average. We have 17.8% underemployment, which again relates to Louise's question around the job incentive schemes. To me, they are slave labour. They are paying somebody a couple of euro on top of their welfare to do the exact same job as everybody else in that business. Now, you're asking what are the solutions? The solutions have to be investment in infrastructure, your schools, your primary care, your roads, your rail infrastructure. The second point is the rollout of broadband. Has to happen. It needs to happen. For SMEs to prosper, they need internet. Imagine trying to do business on a global sphere without having internet. It is absolutely ridiculous.